Jesus says, when you look at me, you're going to see God. He is God's only begotten Son. Whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So Jesus is a prophet. He declares who God is. He is secondly a priest. That's where it says he's firstborn among the dead. Now that means preeminent. That means he's the most important born among the risen from the dead. Firstborn among the dead. So Jesus rose from the grave. You've heard that before, I hope so. That you've heard that he's risen from the grave. Now Jesus rising from the grave. I believe I'm going to rise from the grave because of my faith in Jesus. Jesus rose from the grave because he was sinless. Big difference. The wages of sin is death. Jesus could not stay in the grave because Jesus was without sin. So the grave couldn't hold him. He rose again. So he's the firstborn, the preeminent one, the most important one that's ever risen from the grave. And when I, which I have, and I hope you have, placed my faith in Jesus Christ, in his burial and his death, burial, and resurrection, now I can trust I'm rising from the grave, not because I'm perfect, but because I placed my faith in Jesus. So he's the prophet, he's the priest. What does a priest do? A priest is a mediator between God and man. A priest shows you the things of God. That's what it's to be. Now, don't think just Catholicism. That's not what we're trying to say with a priest. Or don't think just a pastor. Think of the priest, that Jesus was the God-man, the mediator is what it says also in the New Testament, that he had a hand in heaven and a hand on earth. So he could say, when he prayed, what did he pray? On earth as it is in heaven. And that is the cross of Christ. He nailed to the cross to build a bridge between God and man, heaven and earth. He's the priest that mediates. So he's the prophet, he's the priest through his resurrection, and then number 3, and finally, he's the king. He's the king. Look at what that says. And the ruler of the kings of the earth. If you were to look in Revelation 19:16, it says that he's the King of kings and the Lord of lords. It's written on his thigh. It's on the back of his robe. I like it on his robe even. It kind of reminds me like of a boxer coming into a ring, right? Just world champ, baby. Here it is. King of kings and Lord of lords. Is Jesus a Democrat? Is he a Republican? He's the King of kings and the Lord of lords. God is above all things. There's only one Supreme Court, if you have to know. And it's found here when Jesus brings judgment. Now, we are to vote. We are to be a part of the system. We are to do our part in all of those things. So don't hear me saying different. I just want you to hear that Jesus is the king. Now, when they're hearing this, they're under the rule of Domitian. He was a terrible ruler and was ruthless. And when they hear this, they go, Jesus is the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.